Did your girlfriend's dad ever turn out to be way more dangerous than you thought? Before I met her parents, my girlfriend told me that her dad worked in imports and exports and warned me that he could be a little intimidating. But I wasn't worried because my father had worked in customs, so I knew how things went in that sector, and I knew I could find common ground with her dad. But then came the day when I actually visited her house. The first thing I noticed was no family photos on the walls and multiple security cameras in each room. My heart really started pounding when I noticed the 3 walkie-talkies on the dining table. Her dad came downstairs like he owned not just the house, but the entire planet. His eyes looked dead, and he looked at me just once before sitting down at the head of the table. The entire time we ate dinner, he didn't ask me a single thing, and I had to talk about gardens with my girlfriend's mother. Halfway through, some random guy walked in through the kitchen door and whispered something in the dad's ear. I looked to my girlfriend for answers, but neither her nor anyone else even acknowledged who this guy was. After the guy left, the dad started texting on a flip phone that looked at least 20 years old. The red flags were screaming in my ear at this point because this sounded exactly like one of those stories that my father had told me about a guy he had put in jail. I started thinking that the import and export business might not be legal. I asked my girlfriend about it and she brushed it off. Haha, that would be so weird if it were true. But I could see it in her eyes that she was hiding something. I guess she told her dad about my question because he cornered me later that night. You can leave if you're scared of where you are, but if you're staying, then don't forget to respect the house. It sounded like a cheesy 90s line, but from him, it sounded real and more like a threat. I wanted to break it off, but I had fallen in love with my girlfriend, so I started finding ways to impress her dad. I thought that if I got on his good side, then maybe he would trust me with the truth, and I could persuade her to leave the dark side. I started going over to their house every week and would help around the house like I was hired help. I fixed the plumbing in their basement, fixed the garage door making a firework noise every time it would open, and even fixed the main chandelier. My girlfriend's mom had already approved of me, and I could see cracks in her dad's tough demeanor. Sometimes he would look at me helping his daughter with the dishes, and I could tell he was happy. Then he turned back into a stone and started giving me more and more tasks, like he was testing my patience. He told me to fix his 80s motorcycle even though I know nothing about them, and called me useless when I messed it up even further. He made me drink an entire bottle of whiskey and stopped others from calling the ambulance when I threw up and passed out. I was starting to think that I would never gain his approval, and all my efforts were in vain. But then one night around 12 a.m., I heard him on the phone and decided to eavesdrop. He was oddly calm when he said, "Make sure the women are cleaned up properly before sending them back, and don't lay a finger on them." That sounded so wrong in my head that I made a reckless decision and confronted him right then and there. I told him that although I loved his daughter, I couldn't give her my 100% if I knew her dad was involved in an illegal business. He sighed and told me that during these days, he had understood that my intentions weren't bad, so he was willing to tell me the truth. He was actually involved in some shady businesses, but he had left it all behind after his sister became a victim of trafficking. Instead, he had started using his resources to help women and kids who needed escaping. He pulled out a folder from a locker in the wall and showed me pictures of terrified faces. Some of them were brought in from other countries and given away as livestock. I know the system will fail them just like it failed my sister, so I stopped waiting and started helping them myself. I understood that the secrecy I had seen wasn't about money, but about safety. He continued, "I know you're someone who won't take advantage of my daughter, but I still needed to be sure." That explained why he was so tough. We didn't shake hands, but I walked away with a renewed respect for him. In fact, we didn't talk much at all after that conversation, and the longest talk we had was definitely about the wedding venue after I had proposed to my girlfriend.